Hey guys, it's the Fort Worth Glock guy, and I was tagged by your friend and mine, SwissArmyZippo, and the tag was, "What is your favorite EDC knife combination?" So, without further ado, these are kind of in my rotation right now, and usually what I do, depending on what I wear, I always carry a small knife. And I've kind of been going back and forth between this classic in silver A-locks. I just really like the A-locks scales on there. And this Rambler. And what I really like about this Rambler is this extra tool that's on there. If you aren't familiar with the Rambler, it's exactly like the classic, except it has this extra tool on it, which has come in really handy. It's got the small Phillips head and the bottle opener. This bottle opener is functional. It's not ideal by any means. If you have any kind of multi-tool, or if you carry a larger Swiss Army knife, it's got a better one on there. But it's certainly functional. It'll get the job done. You just have to work a little bit harder on it. But what I really like about that is this small Phillips head is this tool is magnetized. So if you're working on something really small, you know, this being magnetized helps grip onto that those small tiny little screws that you were always fussing with. So that's why I really like this tool. I really wish I could find this in an A-locks just so I could have matching, and I do believe they make one. It's called believe like the Bianca or something, Bianco. But man, those exact same tool with the A-locks on there is like 60 or 70 bucks, and I just can't bring myself to do that. So maybe one of these days, but for right now, this is working just great for me. So usually I do carry a small tool, mostly for the small tasks. You know, using the little scissors on here is why I like carrying this, but also I can hand this to one of my little kids, and you know, it's not a big deal. So the knife isn't small. In fact, I've given one of these knives to both of my daughters, and I did this in a previous video. I got this idea from SwissArmyZippo. I just cut the blade off, so it's just a nub. I mean, and I closed it down, you can't even get to it. So for them, they have the file and the flathead, and then they have the scissors, and then theirs is just a standard classic. It's pink, so it has the toothpick and the tweezers on it. So they think that's a really cool tool. So they're familiar with these. So that's why I like carrying that. And then depending on, again, like what I wear, if I'm wearing my 511 tactical shorts, I've got the extra pocket. I think it's meant for like a mag, but I usually dump this in there just so I can have bigger tools, you know, just like this, but just bigger. And this is actually a Winger version, and it's the larger version. I believe it's the 91 millimeter, and I got this back in 1998, so I've had this for a while, and I really like this tool. I've kind of recently started carrying it because before I was carrying a Tinker, and I had this, and I was like, you know what? I just need to start carrying this because I like it better anyways because of the A-lock scales, and you know, it kind of matches when I have these two together. So I just like that. So, and then again, depending on what I'm doing, I usually carry one of these three knives. I've been carrying these two a lot recently. This one I got off of SwissArmyZippo recommendation. It's the Spyderco Dragonfly H1 edition. And I really love this knife. It's a great blade length and shape for me. I can have this around, you know, most people, and it's not a big deal because it's not a big blade, and you know, the yellow scales, I think that, you know, helps people not freak out about it. And then actually, I really think a lot of it has to do with the shape of the blade too, because most Spydercos are really thick all the way through. This one kind of comes to a point, and it's not as, you know, aggressive or mean looking. So like when I've had this out and around other people, you know, I don't get second looks or anything. It's not a big deal at all. And I did get this because I recently took my family to the beach, and I knew that this would be a great blade to have, and I wouldn't have to worry about rust or anything. And sure enough, this is came back from the beach, no issues whatsoever. And let me tell you, I really am digging this pocket clip, this wire pocket clip. When I first started seeing this pocket clip show up on Spydercos, I didn't like it because I just thought it looked cheap. You know, this one just looks nicer. But after getting this in the mail and using this, I really, really like this pocket clip. It does ride a little bit lower in the pocket than this kind of a pocket clip. And the other thing is there's not as much metal showing outside of your pants. And, you know, compared to your typical Spyderco clip, you know, it's just less intrusive. It's not as obvious. And, you know, honestly, it functions great. And it's very concealable. I mean, it doesn't scream, I've got a pocket knife in my pocket. So I've really grown fond of this style pocket clip. Some future purchases, I may be looking at the Spydercos that have this style of pocket clip, because I really do like this and I love this knife. So thanks for the recommendation on that, SwissArmyZippo. And then, before I go on to that, this is the other one that I've been EDCing recently, and it's the SOG Twitch 2, and this one I really like too. I just like the shape of it and the size of it. And this thing is extremely sharp. I mean, I've had it for a couple weeks now, and I've been using it just for little tasks here and there, you know, opening up mail, cutting open packages, that kind of stuff. And this thing, I mean, it's razor sharp. And what I like about it, again, is the blade shape is real thin. And so it's not a big deal to pull it out. I do like the lockback design. This is assisted, so I do like using this lock, so it's not going to open up accidentally in your pocket. And I like the pocket clip on here. I mean, this is a really great knife. It's I like the aluminum scales on here, just because I think it looks nice. It's a real classy look, and you know, it's not that big. I mean, it's pretty much the same size as this Swiss Army knife. In fact, I think the blades are probably about the same size too. So, I mean, as far as like blades, they're pretty much the same. So, you know, I'm not gaining any advantage of, you know, a larger blade. I'm just using this more, you know, for everyday tasks. And this one, honestly, I don't use this blade very much because I'm usually using one of the other ones that I carry. So, but I really like this knife. And then, you know, when I'm feeling colorful, I like using that knife. And when I need something a little bit bigger, you know, if I'm going hiking or whatever, which I don't do all that often, but you know, you want to have something that's a little bit more hard use, then, you know, this works great. And this is the, I believe it's the Persistence. It's the middle line. The Ambitious, I believe, is the smallest, then the Persistence, and then the Tenacious. And this is the perfect size for me. Again, it's bigger than the Dragonfly, but it's not huge. I think the Tenacious is maybe about a quarter to half an inch longer. And, you know, although this is a thick blade, it's not real long. So, you know, it's not as scary, I guess, to the average Joe. So anyways, usually as far as a combination goes, I definitely carry one of the two of these, always, right pocket. This I sometimes carry, I'd say about 50% of the time. And then I always carry one of these blades. So I always have a small and a large blade on me, medium to large. And then I sometimes have this just for the fun of it. So yeah, thanks for the tag, SwissArmyZippo. Gosh, I didn't think of who I should have tagged before I started this video. Who should I tag? How about Gear 755? We've kind of been communicating recently, and we actually did a little exchange recently for some gear, and I'd like to see what he's carrying now, because he's been swapping out some gear, and I want to see what he's been carrying. So Gear 755, your tag is up, so get to work on that video. All right, thanks for the tag, and Fort Worth Glock Guy out.